I'm waiting for it to count. I'm like, there. Oh, it is count. I'm looking at the wrong number. Here we are with another episode of the Geek Out, and we're on episode number 14, and we have one single topic to discuss today. But before we get to that, we're going to introduce everybody, and everybody's familiar here. We got Lauren, and we're just going to go in a different order. We got Tiffany, which I did not introduce her again with the logo to Tiffany. Oops. And then we got Kiefer, further down in that corner. And we got Robert.
Waffles.
Waffles, Waffle Wakanda mode. All right, so our topic today is a simple one, yet it's a complex one, depending on, I don't know, where we go with this, but it's a this versus that battle. And our first topic is going to be Godzilla versus King Kong, and then we'll move around and maybe throw some more ideas. Everybody can, throw something out there if they got something on their mind. But to start off with this, we got Godzilla versus King Kong, and the question is, who's going to win in a battle between those two creatures? So we're going to throw that out on the table and go.
Well, I think that Godzilla would always beat King Kong despite what happened in the movie. I mean, he's got the breath, right? And King Kong is just strong, and has teeth.
I think Godzilla hits me more as like a dirty fighter than King Kong would be. Yeah. Like he'll do a good old fashioned low blow.
Probably. Like he's the one that brings the gun to the knife fight. Godzilla will just King Kong would just sit there beating his chest, and Godzilla will just go,
Well, I mean, think about it. King Kong is just big. He's just big. Godzilla is some sort of otherworldly sort of creature that we don't even know all that he can do, maybe. Who knows? Where did he come from? What's his history?
He's a descendant of the mole people living underground.
I mean, he wrecks entire towns. King Kong couldn't even get over that stinking wall. I mean, come on.
I think he could if he really wanted to.
I think King Kong has more of I think he has a more of a, I won't say kinder personality, but I don't think he's necessarily as through and through evil as Godzilla might be.
Well, of course not. He saved Fay Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, he loved her.
I was leaning in the direction of King Kong too, because he's cool. He seems to be cool. I think he acknowledges or makes it clear which side he's on. At the same time, don't piss him off, But if you are kind and doing the right thing, then he's going to leave you alone. Where Godzilla, you never know what's on his mind. He doesn't have any really personality to him except, bleh.
Well, I mean, look at it. King Kong, they sacrificed women to him periodically to keep him calm. What happened to all these women? Does he eat them? Does he play with them like Barbies? I don't know. The only one we know about is the last one, who he falls in love with and saves and everything else. So what happened to all these other women? Did he eat them?
He was just looking for a bride. I mean, he would pick one up and be like, really? That's the best you have this year? And he'll just throw him behind his back. And you just see this girl flying over the wall. Into the water, and they're like, well, I guess this year's contribution failed. Well, Robert, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm going basically on my 60s, 70s, and 80s knowledge of the movies. And you got two versions of Godzilla, a good Godzilla and a bad Godzilla. Godzilla has been taken down on many times with a machine gun. If I want to say contemporary, King Kong has been taken down by a machine gun. I'm leaning more towards Godzilla, but because he does have the experience, the age, long-range weapons, and everything else. King Kong, he has potential because on the last movie, he survived by himself because some creature took out his parents. So he survived as a child by himself. So I'm thinking if he's strong enough to survive by himself, then he could give Godzilla a run. And if he gets in close with Godzilla, he can't use that long-range weapons. I mean, he did take on that giant octopus. So if I had to bet money, it would be Godzilla. But I wouldn't be surprised if, depending on where the fight is, that King Kong couldn't put up an upset.
So King Kong has some baggage. He's got some psychological drama there. Long-lasting.
So, the question is, Godzilla's breath weapon, how often can he do that? Is that just anytime he wants, or does it have to build up, or does anybody know?
I was looking at that. Apparently, after a while of using it, he has to go dormant for a while, and he can't use it, apparently.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly. They don't really have a scientific mathematical equation for how long Godzilla can use his fire or atomic breath.
Atomic breath. Well, I suppose if you can avoid it enough, Godzilla does have the reach. I mean, I've never actually I never saw the movie because I have no interest in it, really. Who cares? But if you put them side by side, size-wise, what are we looking? Are we looking Godzilla's bigger, King Kong's bigger, or are they about the same size?
Godzilla, in the movies, he was like 308 feet tall, while King Kong was like 100 feet tall. But the thing is that King Kong, he was an adolescent, so they're saying in the new movie he's going to be larger because he's going to grow.
That makes sense.
That'd be 200 feet. It's still like a 200 feet difference at the beginning, so I don't know how much he can grow in this short time.
Well, his parents was huge on Kong Island. I mean, I'd like to know who took out his parents, but his parents were huge.
Could they get over the wall?
It was those creatures, wasn't it? It was those weird alligator-looking skull creatures.
Yeah, and then Kong killed it, right? The mother? Or
the queen, or whatever.
So he could take over?
Yeah. If Godzilla didn't have his breath, I mean, it would be King Kong for sure, because Godzilla's got his little T-Rex arms.
Well, his arms aren't as small as T-Rex's.
No, but they are small.
But they're King Kong would definitely have the reach on him. But, what are we talking, a boxing match? I mean, come on.
Move like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Well, I mean, Godzilla, I've never seen him climb a building. So Godzilla could be underneath him and he could stomp on him. I don't know.
Yes, King Kong can just come down as a body slam, like WWF style or something, off the Empire State Building. Just rah! Whoa, my camera just wigged out.
Elbow slam.
And we're back. The camera has a mind of its own. So body slams aside, Godzilla does. I think Godzilla does have the win on that one.
I think he would.
Except
in the 1962 or 1963 movie, depends if you're talking about Japan or America, where King Kong has the lightning powers where he can harness electricity and shock Godzilla with it, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
There was a King Kong versus Godzilla one, and apparently King Kong won because he shocked Godzilla with electricity and threw him in the ocean.
So I know that Godzilla came out of, Japan, but where does King Kong come from? What's his original story? Does anybody know?
I think Europe, isn't it? Didn't it come from the UK? It's either UK or here. I think.
Let me look it up.
You're going to look it up?
Looking it up. The answer is coming.
Okay, Kong was invented by a guy named Marion C. Cooper. He was born in Jacksonville, Florida, and went on to become a globe-trotting adventurer. And that was in March of, March 2000. That's when the article was written.
Could have sworn he's been out longer than that.
It turns out it was a fascinating journey to the 1933 blockbuster. Blah, blah, blah. He did this, he did that. I'm trying to originate the date, but it's not giving me a date of when he did it. But the first film in 1933.
Still the number one movie playing in all 6 theaters in Kazakhstan to this date. Sorry, that's a Borat kind of throwback.
Right. There were no gorillas on Komodo Island, just so you know. But that didn't bother him.
That you know.
Okay. Okay, so around the time of Promoted it. Anyway, so it was a dude from Florida. All right, so there you go.
Oh, okay. So I found it on Wikipedia. Apparently, it was like 1931.
Yeah, but it's got some interesting backstory on what the article that I was reading was talking about how he was developing the character and things he thought about and things that didn't happen.
So I think we can all agree that Godzilla is going to win that fight.
Yes, Godzilla's going to win that fight.
If you look at average stats and specs between all the movies put together, Godzilla wins. And we still don't know what's on his mind.
Well, stomp on buildings was all I could ever figure.
Crush. Throw up everywheres. All right, so what are some other ideas out there? What about you, Lauren? What's this versus that for you?
Oh, Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Oh.
So like both universes coming at each other?
Oh.
Oh no! Which one is better? Which one is stronger?
Oh my gosh!
That is like the most evil. Like.
So this is a battle. It isn't a fist-to-fist battle, but just who's cooler.
Oh well, I mean, okay. So when I was 11, that's when the first Star Wars, I guess Episode 3, came out. Episode 4 came out. Yeah. I'm not used to calling it an episode. I'm used to calling it Star Wars. I was 11. It was the end-all, be-all of my world and very, very cool. And so part of me is definitely Star Wars. But I grew up watching Star Trek. And, they've done some pretty good movies, not as good as Star Wars. But so... there's certain aspects of Star Trek that are cooler. So it's so hard to decide. Why do I have to choose? Why can't I like them both? Now, if you're going to go versus anything, I think had it been able to keep going on and on, I think Firefly would have overtaken Star Trek easily.
Did you hear that? It looks like they're going to be doing some sort of, I don't know if it's a remake or continuation.
The rebooting, I'm pretty sure it's a reboot of the series that Disney is doing now that they own Fox. They're in the talks of doing it right now. They are serious about it. The only catch is that they're going to make it family friendly, which kind of defeats at least 30% of the purpose of the whole show. Maybe 50%. But that's what made it unique. Is just the cursing in Chinese and some of the remarks made by Jane and
I'll be in my bunk
like that. Can they recreate that awe while making it completely PG? Who knows?
The chain of command is the chain I pick up and beat you with.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but yeah. Oh, Firefly.
And if it's a reboot, then they're going to recast the entire thing too, I assume.
That's going to anger too many people. I think that'll kill the show. You need Fallon in there.
I don't know. Let's just see how it happens, and decide that some people are creative and can do many things, and maybe the characters will come in and out. Who knows? Because I know that they all loved it. So
yeah.
And unfortunately, the Wash is dead, so...
Yeah. The girl, what's her name? That's technically she's gone. She's not coming back. Disney won't do that. I know that. They're probably going to draw the line there and be like, we're going to replace her with somebody new.
She was not a...
She was, technically.
Well, technically, no, she was a concubine.
She was.
Anyway.
Yeah, Firefly was awesome. Hopefully they don't mess that up. But Star Wars versus Star Trek, that is a hard one. Star Wars, I think, would take the win, maybe. But again, I agree with Tiff. They're both pretty cool in their own ways. So I would leave that one alone for the most part and say that they both have a tie for just having both equally awesome franchises. Even though this is supposed to be a this versus that battle in terms of to the death. That's more of who likes what versus what or whatever. But it still made for a good point.
Okay, so if it's to the death, would the Star Trek Enterprise be able to take on, let's say, the Death Star. I don't know. Some ship
No.
comparatively.
No.
So, okay, Starship Enterprise versus I don't know one of the other ship. What?
I'm gonna stand up for Star Trek on that one because Star Trek did take on the Cube in terms of the Borg, number one. And let's look at it this way: you got a fast-moving Enterprise, you got a big giant Death Star. So the Death Star had a exhaust point where if you shoot down 2 missiles, it blows everything up. It was done with the X-Wing. It was done with the Millennium Falcon, kind of. So I think if I had to take on the Death Star using Star Trek technology, then you will have the Enterprise distracting it while I go in with a cloak, Defiant, put in the 2 missiles, fly away, and that's it. Done.
Yeah, that makes sense. Star Trek would win in that scenario.
Well, and it seems like the maneuverability of Enterprise, let's say, is a lot better than like the big star cruisers that the Empire was using. Their maneuverability wasn't that great. So, as far as taking those on, I think the Enterprise might win on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a good chance for that. I guess the Rebel Force needed bigger ships in Star Wars. Instead of big versus big all the time.
Well, the Rebels actually had pretty small ships. They had what they could get, basically, on a lot of instances.
They're a rebellion. They got to build themselves up where the Empire is already rooted. Was rooted. That changed. Well, Robert King Kong versus Godzilla was actually Robert's idea. So Tiff, even though that you already added on to Lauren's, but you just kind of created a balance for the this versus that. What's the this versus that might be floating around your head for characters?
Oh, good grief. This versus that. Let's see. I hadn't really thought of one as far as characters go. I did think of, because I just saw Monster Hunter. And have you guys seen it yet?
No. How
Not
was
yet.
that though?
It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And, it's a movie based on a video game. So, and they're fighting, of course, some monsters. And part of it was really unrealistic. Wildly so. And it didn't make any sense. There's one part in particular when they're in this, well, I'll just tell you, they're caught by some spiders at one point, and what happens to the rest of her team doesn't make any sense the way that it played out. But,
No spoilers.
So, no spoilers. It's just the way that it played out didn't make any sense to me. Other than that, So let's see. We've got how about a Velociraptor versus what could I verse a the Velociraptor?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. I have not seen Pikachu's movie, so I don't know.
Okay.
So I don't know. A Velociraptor versus a Pterodactyl, because pterodactyls can fly.
Yes, and they're fast, but Velociraptors are faster. Maybe.
Are they?
Only when the pterodactyls would only be at their fastest peak when they're diving, but I think Velociraptors would be too quick to dodge and return fire, and they're evil and smart. Where pterodactyls, they're they got tiny little brains, or those Velociraptors are just evil and smart. So and they always work in packs, so they have that pack mentality and incredibly intelligent.
I'm pretty sure that in any battle, the Velociraptor will probably win.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
When we're talking about real dinosaurs that we know of and not fictional ones created by Jurassic World.
I don't know, because, if you could pick something up with your talons and fly away and rip it apart as you're flying, I don't know. I think the pterodactyl might be.
It depends if he's able to get the surprise attack or not, and if the pterodactyl is able to carry the weight of a Velociraptor.
Right. Well, the small, I don't know.
Yeah.
Size-wise, I've never actually compared the size of a Velociraptor to a pterodactyl. So it's.
I mean, baby Velociraptor versus Pterodactyl. Pterodactyl wins.
And maybe that was some of their food. We don't know.
Maybe. It's very true. All right, we'll finish it off with Robert then and have him throw something out there really quick. Because he's got an unlimited supply of this versus that. Guarantee it.
Well, I guess one thing comes to mind is Batman versus Iron Man.
Batman.
Iron Man.
Wow.
I think Iron Man.
Oh my gosh, that's like two of my favorite characters out there in either universe. So that's a hard one because both of them are equally intelligent and have toys and money. I mean, they're each other's clone in one way or another. When you can put the two universes side by side, that's a hard one. I would say Iron Man, only because Iron Man has robots. He has a huge army of automated AI-driven, thanks to Jarvis, robots that can help back him up and take Batman down.
True. I'm going with Batman because, yes, they're both human. They're both billionaires. They do have tech. But the one thing Batman has is a trained mind, and he is thinking 20 steps ahead of everybody. So he would know of Tony Stark, he would know his weaknesses, and he will have a plan for everything. This is the same Batman that took down the Justice League. You know, he's taken down Solomon Grundy, he's taken down Bane. I'm not saying anything bad against Iron Man, and maybe Iron Man could have a couple of plans, but fight for fight, I think Batman, and let's not forget, Batman has a whole different type of suits. Who's not to say he has his own version of a Batman armor? So
He does in some
yeah,
stories.
he
Yeah,
took
like
down,
the one against Superman.
yeah,
When
he,
did Batman take down Justice League? What did I miss?
in a cartoon. Batman also took down the Predator.
But
So
why did he take down the Justice League?
no, okay. Long story short, Batman always fears that the Justice League would be too powerful. And if that's the case, he thought of plans to take each one of them down just in case they come rogue. I don't know if it was Randall Savage, Adam Savage, whatever. Well, someone got a hold of those plans and did exact that. And when he realized who was taking them down was his own plans, he had to help them. But
Kiefer's wigging out now.
That catastrophic failure.
I think his computer's like, no, Batman will not win. I'm crashing this. I'm ending this now.
Yeah.
Well, there you got it. I think we have a good this versus that with multiple different categories here between Godzilla and King Kong and Iron Man versus Batman and the Enterprise versus Death Star and then generalized Star Wars versus Star Trek. We're going to end it with DC versus Marvel. I'm just kidding. But I think we have a good collection. We have a good collection of this versus that for this episode, and I think this has been a good discussion. So, any last thoughts? No? All right. Well, then that ends it. That's episode 14, folks. And for all of you watching, if you want us to talk about stuff in the future, definitely use the comments down there to let us know, because we might use your ideas and talk about them. I mean, that's what we do. We talk. So definitely use those comments and subscribe. I mean, follow us, because we love subscribers. It makes us feel special inside. And just like our mommies used to always tell us. So subscribe and comment. And ladies and gentlemen, we have Lauren and Tiffany, and we have Kiefer, and we have Robert. And I'm James, I'm the guy that talks a lot. And we will see you next time. Until then,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.